Is there anything more reassuring than a softening of your wife's heart? I mean, she's been so cold and distant that you feel too much damage has been done and your marriage is over for good. But then there's that moment when you get confirmation that she's noticed your changes because she goes out of her way to help you and spend time with you.
I'm like, okay, Glenn, it's probably about time I take you and Razel home so I can take Jesse back to Vegas. And so I'm not looking forward to this drive. I'm really tired. She's like, well, I could drive you. And so she drove, and that's out of character.
In this video, I'll reveal the 3 strategies Drayden used to spark curiosity with his wife, dissolve her resentment to unlock her affection, and steer their marriage in a positive direction. And by the way, the second strategy is so powerful, it inspired his wife to seek guidance for her own personal growth.
She wanted to know basically techniques. What am I doing so well to get past this subconscious programming?
Let's look at how Drayden achieved all of this. Now, before he regained his wife's affection, Drayden's marriage was going through the ringer.
She told me a year ago, February, she wanted a divorce.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
And I tried and struggled to figure it out. I even got another program, has a lot of really foundationally good information, but it doesn't go deep enough.
When the threat of divorce sent Drayden's world crumbling to the ground, he tried to fix things right away by joining a program. And it started to work temporarily, but it didn't take long for their marriage to really fall apart again. And here's why.
But it wasn't in depth enough. Like it wasn't long lasting enough. Like as you fall back, because without the other foundational stuff of working on your subconscious reasons why you do that in the first place, you fall back into old patterns, which is what I did.
Right.
And so that falling back into old patterns is what really my Achilles heel. That's what really did it for me.
Look, I don't want to throw rocks at other programs, okay? But at the same time, this is the reason why our program works as well as it does. Because not only do we give men a blueprint of action steps to change their wife's feelings towards them, but as a licensed therapist myself, we cover the deep inner work that ensures your changes are lasting. So husbands get the best of both worlds. And yes, I am biased, of course. So if you need help saving your marriage like Drayden's, click the link down below, set up a call with our team, and let's continue. So with Drayden, things went from good again to bad, to worse when she started seeing this other guy. The confrontation that followed was the toughest he'd ever had with his wife. Her words cut him deeply, leaving him breathless and heartbroken after she spent the evening with that other dude.
I said, so this is pretty real, isn't it? And she looked right at me and says, yeah, it's pretty real. I've never felt so open with anybody in my life, even you. And I was like, oh, me, man. That hit hard.
It was at that moment that Drayden could apply the first lesson he learned, because we were already working together. And without this lesson, there's no telling where he'd be right now. Here's how Drayden reacted to his wife's words.
I said, I get that you feel that way. And I know you can't remember when we were first together like I do, but I remember it different. I remember you felt that way about me. And then I left it like that. Other than a few mishaps this whole time, I've just stayed in my frame, stayed confident, and it's done a lot.
Now, Drayden is talking about the power of poise, because oftentimes what I see with guys is they'll get pretty reactive, right? Reactive is just feeling unstable in yourself, which I know it makes sense during these times, but the ability to stabilize yourself, to ground yourself and root yourself in who you are as a man and to recognize you're going to be okay, it allows her to feel safe with you, because she was questioning that since the beginning. And if you fell apart more after she left, she knows that you're not going to provide that safety for her.
And I'm passing her test because she's a little frustrated with my daughter, and she like threw her jacket back at her because she wasn't paying attention to her. And I found it amusing. I found her little burst of anger amusing. And she's like, what are you laughing at? Why do you think it's so funny? Well, since when do you laugh? You know, that kind of stuff. So sorry, thought it was funny. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she eased up, and, you know, so I'm passing little tests like this, right?
Now, a movie scene that it's a great example of the power of poise is in The Gladiator, one of my favorite movies of all time. God, such a good movie. Now, there's this scene where Maximus, played by Russell Crowe, who won Best Actor for that role, by the way, totally deserved. He's in the arena after winning another fight that he was set up to lose. Now, the Emperor Commodus is looking for any reason to do away with Maximus for good, to get rid of the thorn in his side. So when he's still alive after the match, Commodus tries to provoke him. He does so with a test that rubs salt on the wound of his tragic loss of his wife and son.
They tell me your son squealed like a girl when they nailed him to the cross. And your wife moaned like a whore when they ravaged her. Again and again and again.
Time for honoring yourself will soon be at an end. Highness.
Yet in the face of betrayal and unimaginable personal loss, Maximus saw the bigger picture, and he had the ability to focus and keep calm under pressure. This showcased his resilience and leadership. See, you have to nurture the same ability with your wife's Tess. Now, Drayden is the first to admit his marriage isn't fully at that place he wants it to be yet, but he's on the right track, and the power of poise has dramatically helped him with that. Think of it like a frame, okay? Right, you have a little frame here, okay? You're holding this frame in front of you, and that's your identity and how you see the world. Now, if you fall out of that frame when you're tested, it shows that you're not confident, right, and comfortable with who you are, okay? Now, you're not being your authentic masculine self when this happens, and she loses respect and attraction for you. But this second truth helps you achieve the power of poise. Listen to how Drayden describes it.
I finally was able to say, listen, I'm not going to apologize. I am a man, and I'm proud of being a man. And this course is helping me remember what it's like to be a good one, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
He's talking about intrinsic confidence, okay? Internal intrinsic. His wife knew he was in the program and was proud of the changes he was making, but it also brought up some, well, uncomfortable feelings about her own identity. She worried that by embracing his masculine side, he might be implying that she was overly feminine. Now, that's not her style, as she says. She likes taking the lead and making decisions, sometimes, in her words. Now, Drayden knew this, though. You know, people are unique in how they balance masculine and feminine traits. Of course, on this channel, I talk about man being the masculine because most guys fail with that, but it can switch around. So when Drayden started to lead with love and confidence, he didn't apologize or shy away from that role. Now, this intrigued his wife, and she found herself looking to him for direction and guidance.
She wanted to know basically techniques. What am I doing so well to get past this subconscious programming? Because that's the thing that she's working on with her personal school, is how to erase these feelings of not feeling good enough and her own trauma and stuff. And she's a little bit jealous because she sees how I'm just flying through this stuff.
Now, this is proof that being confident in who you are as a man, being your authentic self and owning that is infectious, and it often can influence others. Hopefully you pick up from me that I am myself. I don't share a lot of my personality here because I'm trying to help you, right? I don't really think you guys care about me personally, but when we're around others that are just self-loving, it allows us to relax because they're so relaxed. They take the lead in that self-love, and that's a spiritual state that we all aspire to. So when you can be that for her, it's beautiful. So how did Drayden gain that confidence and masculine authenticity, that self-acceptance? Well, that's what the final truth is about, which is motivational rediscovery. Now let's hear it in Drayden's words.
Just finding myself again. I mean, I was there before. I've done lots of self-improvement before. The biggest win is realizing that it can go away if you don't continue to work on yourself. You can't get complacent in life's journey. And finding her and settling into that, you know, somehow I lost that, and like discovering that possibility and knowing how to not let that happen again is the biggest win.
Now, Drayden is describing his biggest win of motivational rediscovery. I would say this is the biggest gift you can get across this process. I know all you want right now, and your level of consciousness and where you're at is just heard back, to have that semblance of safety, peace, right? But as you'll find across this process, if you go the correct way, is you'll become someone that you admire. This is like finding just an oasis in a desert, right? You may have walked around the desert for years at a time, but you didn't see the truth of what was in that lost place. But by going the right direction and listening to your guide, you'll find that place of peace again. That's what you've always been looking for. Now listen, if you want one-on-one help in that guide to guide you through a place where they've guided hundreds and thousands of other guys, hundreds and thousands, not hundreds of thousands. Okay, I think you get the point. You can set up a call 13 down below. Because honestly, if you get lost, it's hard to find your way back, and I get that. Take care.